You would think that the last episode in a season is the most memorable, but when I finished Arcane Season 2, the episode I couldn't stop thinking about is actually episode 7. It's the episode nobody asked for, but if you're like me, you're probably very happy that we got it. Not only is this episode great by itself, but it also plays a crucial role for the series as a whole. And what I find most interesting about that is how does an episode that takes place in two completely different dimensions or timelines manage to integrate itself so nicely? And we're gonna get into all that in this video, so kick back, relax, and enjoy as we unravel the brilliance behind episode 7. A beautiful romance. I love the romance between Ekko and Jinx, or actually I'm gonna call this version of her Powder. It's something that I would have never thought would happen, but I'm all for it. It's so sweet seeing Ekko and Jinx work together. They're both so crafty and intelligent. It seems like this is the relationship they were always meant to have. The dancing scene between them is also so heartwarming, visually interesting, and I just love this song. Is that just me, or how did you feel about this song? Let me know in the comments below. And in case these elements don't already show how much effort the filmmakers put into this episode, did you know that the scene of them dancing is actually animated in 4 frames a second? So the same amount of seconds Ekko can travel back in time? It's just a great scene, and the dialogue we get between Ekko and Powder as they sit together enjoying the view is also so heartwarming. When Ekko says, "I promise I'll never forget this," and Powder replies, "You better not," I think she knows that the Ekko she's currently talking to is from another dimension. At least we should entertain the fact that she did know, because she did see the drawing of these 2 clones and then gave Ekko this look. I mean, we'll never know, so you can interpret this completely differently, but I believe that in this moment she knew what was going on. And seeing it from that perspective makes these already beautiful lines hit even harder as they realize that this is a memory these two will share across dimensions, since the Ekko and Powder's dimension will never remember this moment. Having this in mind, I can honestly only recommend you watch the entire clip again. The dialogue just becomes even more bittersweet.
Taking a leap forward means leaving a few things behind.
Building the character of Jinx. This episode drastically ups the sympathy we have for Jinx, which is also something very important for the final battle of this series to work emotionally. Now some of you might be thinking, what are you talking about? I already loved Jinx before this episode. To which I say, wow, thanks for taking such an active part in this video. It's good to have you here. And then I would argue that Jinx is a very nuanced, layered, complicated character, which is actually something that this show does so great for so many of its characters, and it's essentially the core of what makes this show so great overall. But with such a layered character, people can have very different opinions and feelings towards the character. I mean, Jinx has done some really terrible things, so for all the people that were still on the fence about her, this episode shows us who Jinx could have been if life wouldn't have been so tough on her, and it's so heartwarming to see. So now we know that there actually is a good version of Jinx out there, and it's worth giving her a second chance. This exploration of her good side is also further enhanced by experiencing it together with Ekko, who is also on the fence about her.
And this invention, you don't have some alternative purpose for it?
And just like Ekko slowly changes his perspective on Jinx, we as the audience do so as well. I also love that while we get a different version of Jinx in this dimension, they keep the core characteristics the same. Powder in this dimension is also incredibly crafty, is able to inspire people, and has a knack for the spectacle. Only in this dimension, these attributes are used for good. It truly makes this version of her feel authentic, and it's inspiring when you think about how the same character traits can have such a positive impact when presented with the right circumstances. Ekko the Hero. This episode also does a lot of character building for Ekko and single-handedly turned him from a less important character to someone essential for the final battle and also one of my favorite characters. This journey into a good version of the Undercity is so healing for Ekko and I think reignites the hope in him that years of loss and suffering had made slowly fade away. Also, Ekko really made the ultimate sacrifice in this episode. Jayce managed to return from hell, which is impressive. But Ekko decided to return from heaven to save his home. If you ask me, Ekko's sacrifice is 100 times more difficult, and he deserves all the respect. What an amazing, selfless character. A hero we've all come to love. Increasing the stakes. Using different dimensions or time travel to show the audience what future awaits these characters is a very effective method to establish the stakes. Communicating the stakes to the audience is one of the most important aspects of establishing a plot. In case you never noticed this, that's why most time travel movies like Terminator or X-Men Days of Future Past naturally have a very strong plot. Because while in other movies the filmmakers have to be very conscious about what the stakes are and how they're being communicated, in time travel movies this almost happens automatically. We get to see a horrible future, and naturally the mission becomes going back in time and preventing that future from happening. And that's exactly what this episode manages to do for this series, and thereby it drastically enhances the stakes for the final battle. Now when you're watching the final battle, you're not thinking, oh, they should better win because Victor's plans don't sound so great. Instead you're thinking, oh shit, I've seen what happens when they lose, so they have to win, otherwise they're doomed. The color contrast between the two dimensions and the contrast between this version of the Undercity and what we usually get to see is also great. This version is bright, vibrant, and happy. I also find it almost poetic how Ekko got sent to a happy version of the Undercity as he only knew it as a wasteland, and Jayce got sent to a wasteland version of Piltover as he only knew Piltover as an advanced city. It's exactly what the two characters needed to progress. Ekko was able to heal his soul, and Jayce got to see the future they were heading towards. Honoring the past. Although this isn't the finale, it honors past episodes and gives us a moment to appreciate how far we've come and recollect who we have lost by showing us so many characters who have passed away. This isn't a flashback, these are real characters, and Ekko will remember seeing them again and seeing how good the world can be forever. Also, I want to quickly talk about Heimerdinger, who also played a crucial part in Ekko being able to return to his dimension. The last time Heimerdinger refused to help a bright-minded individual in need, it led to the creation of Hextech. Now he decided to help Ekko, another bright-minded individual in need, and it leads to Ekko returning to his dimension and saves the world. This shows us that despite all that has happened, Heimerdinger never lost the faith in the people. Very satisfying conclusion to his character and another bittersweet sacrifice.
I must say that since I've met you, lad, I've truly lived. What?
So those are all the reasons why I think episode 7 is the best episode in Arcane season 2. What was your favorite moment in this episode? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Brilliance behind episode 7.